Yesterday I went to the Mind, Body and Soul Fair in Glasgow, and a Mind, Body and Soul Fair is like it's like a fair with um, a lot of complementary therapists and alternative therapists like massage, different types of massage and spiritual healing and energy healing, so things that are a bit more esoteric and unusual, and a lot of like tarot readers, angel readers, psychic readers, mediums, people trying to take your aura photograph, all sorts of things, selling you crystals, that kind of thing. And so I've been to quite a lot of these. I actually gave a talk at one as well last year, but and I went along and I just went in and some of them I've been to before, some of the people I know before, and some I didn't. But I decided to go in and experience different things, and had a really good day, is what I would say. Firstly, but it's an interesting other aspect of the whole issue of taking care of yourself and living a healthy life. Is the idea that there's even more to the body and the mind than we realise, and that you should be kind of taking care of that aspect of yourself as well. So anyway, went in, and there's a guy that does past life regression, and I've had a couple of sessions with him before. So I sat down with him and I had a session, and it was good. And I don't really know if it's like a legitimate past life or anything like that, and I never strongly visualize it. So when he's hypnotized me, I don't like see myself in a past life or anything, but I see like images and stuff. So he says, well, what does it look like, where are you, or whatever, and I say, or he says, what colour is the door that you've just come out of, because he asks you to go through a door, and I go, okay, that it was a wooden door, it was a kind of shape of an iron, and it's funny because as you go along this thing, and then he says, okay, what you doing and where are you, and so you kind of start to embody this character. Whether that's a past life or not, I don't know, for me, but it's interesting because I think it's like it's something different towards your normal conscious self. It's like an aspect of yourself, or some element of your subconscious, or whatever it is. So in the kind of past life regression, I was because one thing I want to say as well before going to this is, for a long time I've had this feeling of blockage in this side of my face for years and years and years, like 7 years, at least 5 years, but 6 years, maybe 7. And the first time I became aware of this was like some energy. I used to have it here, and like a straw, like I kind of feel a kind of a block, and then that opened or moved or shifted or whatever, and it felt like energy flowed, and then the energy got stuck or wasn't flowing properly here or whatever. That's how it felt like at the time. And I didn't really realise that it would last so long, this kind of feeling of blockage. Anyway, so I was wanting to see if the various people could work on it, or help solve that, or offer any insight into it. And what happened with the past life, I asked him to, and he said, well, what we'll do is we'll see what happens, and he said, let's go to the life that this particular issue started happening or whatever, and it was funny, and So he was asking me about where, like, go to the part of the life where this happened, and it was as if I was experiencing a lot of pain in my stomach. So, and he was like, and I was experiencing this like extreme pain. Well, I wasn't feeling anything yesterday, but I was kind of grimacing as if I was in pain. I was kind of doubled over as if I was in pain, like I was nearly crying. And so I was imagining going through this, but it was quite real. It was like my body was kind of doing it. It was like there was a memory within my body. Weird. It's hard to explain, I suppose. And like I was grimacing and feeling this sharp pain, and he was, and like he was asking me who I was, and it's funny because like a slightly different voice was coming out when I was speaking. It was quite funny, and it was like a different part of my mind, or it's hard to explain because it wasn't me speaking in my normal voice or my more normal personality. It was a slightly different personality, you know. So it was interesting answering questions with that sort of personality coming through or whatever. So that was quite a cool experience. And he's a good hypnotist for sure. You go down very quick. So that was good, and I'll probably continue to see that guy every now and then, and go through those sessions because there's something good about them, I think. The next thing, what was the next thing I did? I got a bit of healing done. I did this kind of binaural energy healing. Sorry, I'm rubbing my face and rubbing my eyes. And I felt stuff in that. But it was almost like a kind of a spring. I don't know. It was just like it was like the lady was kind of working on your aura rather than actually touching you. So some people are sensitive to that, and some people aren't going to feel anything, you know. And like my friend went through it and he said he didn't feel anything. I did respond to it, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. But the thing that impressed me the most, or the biggest experience I had yesterday, was the reflexologist. And so I sat with this reflexologist, and I didn't really know what she was going to do, but I was interested in reflexology, especially for this blockage. And I told her about it a little bit, and she started working on my feet, and she went, "Oh yeah, I can feel that blockage." And she started to say, "Oh, it feels weird," like as if she was embodying it. So it was quite interesting. But she was working on my feet, and she started pressing on a certain point, and she said, "That's the point that's relating to this blockage in your face." And she was stimulating this or touching this point, and it was, you know, she was stimulating this area. So she had some real skill in what she was doing. But she also was able to go in. Started to go into what it all related to, as in like the emotional stuff behind it. And she said to me, like, there's something in your past. There was like a subject or something you wanted to do, and you felt like you weren't really. Your enthusiasm in that wasn't really supported or something, or whatever. And she said, and you've never really forgiven you've never really let go of that. You've always been a bit angry about that, or you're a little bit like upset about that or something or whatever, and you've never quite let it go, or you've never quite dealt with it, and that's part of this blockage. And it was interesting because it was really, she was quite on the money, I would say. Um, and she was saying a lot of other things. She was telling me about, she was trying to get this energy to kind of unblock. She was telling me that she was like, you have to go on a vision quest or something, like you have to just go and get away because you've not, I don't know, like she was bringing up certain issues, and some of it's kind of personal, I suppose, but she was good at speaking about it in a productive way, and I was totally blown away by what she was doing. Like, I mean, I've not been to like thousands of therapists and stuff, but she's definitely one of the best, and one of the best psychics, because she was basically a psychic as well at the same time. But the fact that through the feet that she was able to manipulate energy points and stuff, that was just, to me, there's a lot of people that think they can do these things and say they can do these things and believe that they can do these things, but there's very few that can actually do it and know they can do it. And she was just a total professional. So if you want to find her, if you're in, I think I've given her a recommendation, but she's, for most of you lot watching this, you're probably like miles away, but she's called Happy Souls. If you ever come across her, I think she's on Facebook, but I think she does fairs all over the country and stuff. Happy Souls. I've got her business card. I can't remember her first name. I think she's going to be in Glasgow for the next couple of weeks. So get in touch with her if you want like some ridiculous reflexology, like that's what I thought it was anyway. After that, I had a tarot card reading, and tarot card reading kind of, she was kind of saying the same thing as this other lady. So, but the tarot card reader brought in a lot of other stuff as well that maybe some things she was accurate on, some things she was right, or she was good with a lot of stuff. A few things that maybe didn't quite make sense to me or whatever in terms of the advice, but relatively good reading again for a tarot card read, and useful. And what else? My friend Nick gave a talk, and I was enjoying his talk about some of the benefits of meditation. What else? Yeah, I mean that was mostly it. So the reflexology was the thing that I was definitely most impressed by. Happy Souls, and I've met that woman a couple of times. I never had a session with her. She was always really booked up a lot of the times. I guess because she's really good at it. So anyway, that was my little experience at the fair. I don't know if I'll go back today, but I think you end up spending kind of a lot of money going to all these different things. So I would encourage you to experiment with some of these things and see what you get out of it. And there's probably some things in your life and some health issues that you might need to go to someone that's doing that kind of work, like energy work or healing work on some kind of spiritual level or whatever, to get something out of. Regardless of how you frame that or framework what that actually is, as far as I'm aware, there is science behind hands-on healing. There is reasons why it can work. Energy healing, I don't know. Even just the very thought that you are getting healed is enough for you to heal yourself in a weird way. And the other thing that was brought up is your ability to lose the will to live. Like, people can drop dead just by losing the will to live. And you might think that doesn't happen, but someone pointed out that people die of a broken heart all the time. Like, one person in a couple dies and then the other person dies a couple of days later. You know, that happens a lot. A person's kind of loses their reason to live. People stop working, stop their job, and die not long after it. They've like lost their reason to live, and it's very hard for some people. So there you go. That's just a random thought that came up as something I was thinking about yesterday. But these things are definitely worth exploring. A lot of them think they're doing that. It's hard to find the ones that are real legitimate in terms of are doing something that is more than something that they just imagine they're doing. You know, you have to actually be doing something and actually having an effect on people, because there's always going to be a certain level of people healing themselves if they just believe that they're being healed. You know, what's that called? Placebo effect. So, to find people that are really give you kind of an amazing and interesting experience is kind of rare, but I think worth going around and trying these things out. Okay, let me know below your experiences, and see you in the next video.